Tango 1 at the top, we are at pop-up vehicle. 10-4, Tango 1, you have control. Tango 1 copy. Stand by. Stand by.
Integrity, passion, resilience. That's what this place was built on. That's what our community is founded on. Don't act like the example, just be the example. This is the home of the greatest fitness community in the world. We're trying to create strong, able bodies, resilient to injury with a gas tank to get shit done. If there's one thing from this podcast, it's about taking immediate action. Find the problem, fix the problem. This is your opportunity. It's either a hell yes or a fuck no. It's that simple. You're doing that to the Tango 1 podcast. Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.
Welcome to the Tango 1 podcast. I'm Tony Smith. I'm a retired cop, tactics team leader, and currently the founder and the owner of the Garage Gym and Tango 1 Solutions. I'm joined by my friend and fireman, amateur stuntman, and wolf tamer, Casey Wright. Our mission is to challenge you and guide you to create an immediate action plan against your problems and your weaknesses, introducing you to people in our network who can help you do the same. Every week we want you to just do more and be more. Today we are joined by Mackenzie Siddall. Very excited to have her here. If you don't know Mackenzie, she played 4 years of softball at UBC, which we found out is in Vancouver. She was the captain there for 3 years. She has a degree in kinesiology. She completed her MBA, at the U of Windsor, and now is the owner of AOG, Attitude of Gratitude, where she runs boot camp style classes kind of all over the place. And most importantly, she's newly engaged. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. What is that, like a week ago?
Yeah, fresh.
To her now fiance, Phil, right? And he's a pro basketball player in Europe.
You got it.
So pretty cool thing. So let's get rolling. Right away. So when Casey is married to your sister, or not married, I shouldn't have said that.
Yes.
We know it's such a slip. So,
I like the sound of that.
Casey is dating your sister, and because of Casey, I've got to know you guys fairly well. And when I think of you guys, the first thing I think of is family. Even from the Cruise and Brews, all of you coming in together and walking up and meeting me all together in like one big posse. The Siddall family. So let's talk about that, man. Like, what is up there? How are you guys so close and so fun and so smiley all the time?
I think honestly, obviously our parents are kind of our rocks, our support system, our role models. So I think we kind of take their lead. They've always been super, outgoing, kind, social people, but we've always kind of had that family connection. They've always not stressed the importance of family, but we knew as kids, like, family's where it's at, and we were such like a close, tight unit. So obviously Brooke, the oldest one, and then Brett, me, and then we had my younger brother Kevin. Yeah, it was like the Siddells of 6. Like, we were the siblings, all the kids. It was just, we're always a close family. But honestly, it starts with my parents, and hey, like, I think it probably starts with their families too. I mean, my dad comes from 9, my mom comes from 5, and they have really close families. So I think it starts up there, and then it's just kind of made its way down to us as well.
Was that a slip, or did you say the siblings?
No, the siblings. That's a thing, man.
A real thing.
Yeah, my siblings are my siblings. Play on the last name there.
Very nice. And yeah, your parents are like, they're just so outgoing and welcoming and, smiley as well. Your dad, very accomplished athlete, and it's obviously passed down the chain to all of you guys. And the competitiveness doesn't stop.
It is such a competitive household. Couples tennis is more intense than a university game sometimes. But it's so fun. It's like such high pace, high energy, and the whole household, it just doesn't stop. So it's been, it's great.
So I'd like to talk about Kevin a little bit, because like, for me, when I first got to know you guys and I heard this story, I couldn't believe, like, it's coming from an Italian background. I don't know that our family even speaks of things like this. And you guys are just like, you lost your brother years back, and for me, and from looking from the outside in, and from talking to Casey and getting to know you guys, it just seems like that has empowered you guys to become something even more than you already were. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
From tragedy to just incredible, really, to me.
Thanks. It's kind of funny. I think back to, and I always say, like, I've always been a positive person. Like, I always kind of live life to the fullest and all that, but I've even noticed a change in myself, and let alone my entire family. But yeah, I think it just really, brought us together even more. We were already so close, but it really kind of showed us how, like, life is so precious. And I think a lot of times, I don't know, before you don't really realize the impact of things. Obviously, it's kind of that saying, like, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And I heard of stories of people, losing loved ones, and I thought, oh, cancer. And then when it hits you, you realize, like, oh, like, that's a thing. Like, cancer's a you takes people from you with, like, you can't do anything about it. So I think after he passed away, it's been over 6 years now. So it's been a while, but pretty much right away, we kind of, like, came together as a family, and it was like, we could sit here and keep crying and be really sad, but what's that going to help? I think Kevin would want us to keep moving forward. And I think just that idea of knowing that you're moving forward, but it's not like he's not there with you. So kind of removing that guilt from it, like, it's okay to keep living your life because that's what he'd want you to do. And he's there every step of the way. I mean, anything green that we see, any sunrise, sunset, like, he's always there giving us signs. So it's just that idea of moving on in a different way with him. But yeah, I think we just really came together, and kind of goes right into the whole gratitude idea. It was like we were able to sit back and reflect and think, like, wow, I'm so blessed that I got those 14 years with him, instead of like, wow, I don't get the rest of my life with him. It's like, no, look at what you did get and what you do have. But coming with that too, I think it's the support system. I mean, we were absolutely overwhelmed at his funeral, even just while he was sick, the things that the community was doing, that people were doing. It really made us take a step back and think, like, wow, he's had a huge impact. Our family has a huge impact on the community. It's almost brought everyone closer together. And I think it changed not only our mindsets, but other people too. So I think just kind of looking at all that, you really, like, take a step back and appreciate all the moments that you had. And so that's why I think that even makes it easier moving forward, because yeah, you're not moving forward without him. It's just in a different way.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so, like, one thing just to kind of bring, because you didn't really mention it, but to bring everything up to speed, you could even studying saying this, but it was over 6 years ago right now that Kevin had passed after his stint with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, correct? Mm-hmm. And so it was just like, but I was kind of introduced to the family not long after this, and it's just one of those things you see, and it goes to a lot of things we always talk about here, and you are the poster child of it all, is seeing a unfortunate situation that, again, you don't really have a say in what happens, and it's a real life situation, but how you react to that is everything you can control. And how your family has really, just seeing it again from the outside, is seeing how close you guys are from this, and how much now, like, not saying you didn't before, but how much you appreciate the day and how grateful you are for the things that you do have, and just the things that don't matter, how you can brush it off, and the things that do have that little impact, you just, you're so sparkly about it, right? That little wins, and celebrating them and being happy about it. It's incredible to see from my side of things, right? From my chair. So it's incredible just seeing, when the other side, where unfortunately a tragic event can kind of collapse a group of people or family. You guys really brought it around together, and just, it's an amazing unit to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, your family does continue to empower people, because just sharing the story, and just, like, the posts and the anniversary of his passing, and it just, when you open something like that and you're like, I'm frustrated with my children because they left out their crap, or they pissed all over the toilet as usual, like, it's just like lends so much perspective to like, man, like, these are the things like that I'm getting upset about. Like, imagine the things, like, how much could be happening that should really make you upset, or could really make you upset. Oh, one question. What is the green heart? What is the symbolism of the green heart? So
the green is actually the color of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So a lot of different cancers have different colors, like breast cancer's pink. So we figured out that non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is a lime green. And so that's kind of been the color ever since. So obviously the green heart emoji is always easy to send, but kind of anything green. Like, we wear green bracelets. A lot of times, I think I've told this story before somewhere, but whenever you take a picture of a sunrise or a sunset, there's a green dot that shows up on your screen. It's just like the way the lighting, the sun hits your camera. And so it's just anything green. I mean, obviously it's a lime green, but kind of anything green, that's where we see him and we know he's there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I had no idea where that came from. I thought that was just, and the AOG colors.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's all connected. And my Bud Light lime here.
That's why the lime. It's empowering though, because like what you guys did with the like Fight for Kevin campaign, but just part of that fundraiser is you see it all over Windsor. I see it so many times as someone walk by that I don't know if they're friends of the family or not, but I always see the green bracelets around, and it's just cool to see all the time, like everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere you go, you'll see someone sitting there and they have that green bracelet on, and it's just like, I got mine, like I don't think I've taken it off in 5 years.
I know, it is funny sometimes, because I think obviously there's other green bracelets out there, and so yeah, even now, like whenever we're places, I like look at someone and I see it and I don't know if it's the FFK or something else, but you like, you know, it's just kind of cool to see. Or I mean, I was out in British Columbia for 4 years and some of my friends had it on there, or there were people from Windsor that live there, and like, I don't know, you're in a bar or you're watching a baseball game or something and you see someone with that on when you're not even in Windsor. That's like the cool part about it, is obviously we have friends and family all over the world, but you know, to actually be somewhere else and see that, it's like, wow, like this is pretty cool. So it's not even just us. Yeah, it's just what people have done. I know one of my friends went to St. Anne's during that time and they did a huge kind of bracelet sale there. And so, yeah, it's like people that I don't know, that I don't even know if they really knew Kev, but they just want to support, and, you know, they are kind of standing up for a great cause. So it's pretty cool to see, like, yes, I know my family is positive and all that, but we have an entire community that's had our back the whole time, which definitely helps.
Yeah, legacy. Legacy is become something that's very important to me, and you want to just leave this place better and make other people better, and your family and Kevin definitely did that. So the first time I meet you, or just before, it's the Cruise and Brews. And I might have met you briefly. I don't think so, actually. I think I was out planning for it when I ran into you.
Yeah.
Casey says to me, he's like, so you know Mackenzie has one arm. And I'm like, what? Like, she's rowing. And this like just lends to how incredible you are. And he's like, yeah, she has one arm, but she does everything. And I think people listening who don't realize, you're an athlete. You play baseball of all sports, right?
Yeah, all sports, exactly.
I watched you rip on that rower for almost 4 hours during the Cruise and Brews. It's never slowed you down, and it will never slow you down, and you embrace it really, and which is like so again empowering to all of us who you know, who are worried about, you know, maybe how your hair looks when you go out, things like that. It doesn't even cross your mind. How's that always played into your life? Like,
so I think for me, it's how I was born. So I was born with one hand, and you know, it wasn't like some tragic accident or anything. I
heard it was an alligator, didn't?
Oh yeah, hey.
First time
I got Casey pretty good.
First time I meet Kenzie, she's sitting there in her. I am very close with your cousins. Played football with them at the university, and he goes, "Oh, that's my cousin Kenzie," and like, just so you know, like, don't say anything about her hand, right? So I'm like, okay, like, right, and then I meet you, and it got brought up in conversation, and first thing she says, she's like, "Yeah, well, couple years back, an alligator got it," and I'm not gonna question it, right? I've had an animal experience.
Yeah, true.
You don't have a hand. I'm like, I'm not gonna say that's a lie.
Yeah.
Because who knows, right? And it was just like, and then obviously learn to find out you were born with that, and it was just something like as simple as making, like, I don't want to say making a joke out of it, but making fun with the situation and being creative with it. And like, it just like, it doesn't bother me because this is who I am. Right? It's just, it's hilarious.
Yeah. So literally that's how I was born. And it is fun now you have to be careful about who you're talking to, but I do like to joke about it. I mean, it's who I am. And it's tough for me to know from like a really young age what I was like. Obviously I don't remember a ton, but I mean, ever since I remember being in school or things like that, I never was worried about being excluded or being made fun of. I kind of just took a step forward. I'm like, this is me. This is who I am. Like, I mean, hey, you want to judge me, go ahead, but it's not going to impact me because, like, this is me. And I've always been that way, kind of just, I know we're all different. Like, we're all unique. None of us is the same. I always say it'd be so boring if we were all the same. So I look at it as, like, a visible difference. So obviously when you look at me, it's something that you can see. I mean, a lot of times people don't even notice, but you know what I mean? It's visible, whereas, like, so many people have invisible differences. So that's kind of the way I look at it, is that we're all different. Mine's just maybe a little easier to see, but, like, we all are going through something. We all have our own stories, and this is mine. So yeah, instead of, I don't know, taking a step back and being worried and being afraid and worried about judgment and all that stuff, it's like, no, this is who I am, so I'm going to embrace it. And, you know, I want to try to encourage everyone else to embrace their differences too. So yeah, going through school, I don't know, it's just who I am. And I do remember, like, for a little bit, I was a little shy about it, just, I don't know, playing on sports teams. Like, I played hockey and I have to tape my glove on, and it's like rolls and rolls of clear hockey tape. And, you know, in the dressing room, I'm just like, oh, like, you know, people are looking at me. Sometimes I was a little, like, insecure, but I got over that quickly. Like, I would say, I don't know, by the time I was in grade 2 or 3, I was like, yeah, I don't know, this is me. You want to look at me? Look at me. Like, it's just, I've always been really open about it. Like Casey said, like I joke, like it's just an ongoing kind of thing. So I guess it just started from a young age. I mean, my parents were always, you know, encouraging me to do what I want. Clearly, I picked up a baseball bat. I don't know why. I could have just kicked a soccer ball.
You didn't shy away.
But
from
hey.
it.
What position did you play out of curiosity?
So I actually I was a pitcher, believe it or not. And I played softball or fast pitch. So we pitch underhand. But yeah, my glove's off when I pitch. So it was always you got to get that glove on quickly.
Like in softball, you're close.
Yeah, you're close. So when I was younger, it was never a crazy issue. But like as I started getting older, it was like, okay, you need to like get your glove on quick here. Like this needs to be a quick transition. You might get a line drive back at you. So I pitched for a while and then mainly outfield. And then when I did move to UBC, I pitched maybe like 1 year there, but nothing crazy. And then I was mainly an outfielder, which is where I like to be. I liked it out there the most.
And for people that don't know, like we're not talking softball like what I played.
Not slow pitch.
We're talking about like fast pitch where
Yeah.
your momentum's bringing you towards home plate. 60 feet away, 45 feet.
Yes. Oh gosh, I should know this.
I think it's 45.
It's pretty close. Yeah.
It's pretty. They say it's the same
quick.
as a fastball in baseball, right?
Yeah. No, it's
I've watched you. Well, we watched you play in Oregon
Yeah.
during that tournament, and it was like it's a lot more. I give it credit. I was again being naive going into it, and it was intense and it was quick. And I think that I don't know. One thing I love about your story and the whole thing is like you take this difference and you didn't just like you said, you didn't take up soccer, right? Not that you couldn't, but it was just like okay, I can do everything that anyone else can with two hands, and I'm just gonna find a way.
Exactly.
Right? So baseball.
Yeah.
I watch you play catch, quick tuck of your glove under the arm, throw it back in, and you're like, you can't even see the transition.
No,
how
it's
fast
so
it is,
funny.
right? And playing hockey, it's like instead of just shying away from it and trying to make it easy on yourself, you just find a way around it and find a way to do it, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of the motto in my life, find a way. I mean, obviously sometimes it's going to look different than people, but yeah, like I like a challenge. I like a competition. I just, honestly, half the time I think I forget that I have one hand. Like, we're doing things, even people in my family I've noticed before, like they'll say, I don't know, we're writing something and they're like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't have a right hand. And they're like, oh yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's just kind of the way I live my life. Like, yeah, even I forget sometimes. Or someone, obviously you catch people looking and that's fine. If I would probably do the same thing, but it's like, I don't even know they're looking at me. I'm like, what, did I like spill something on my shirt? Like what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, I don't know how I think just over the years it's developed into that way, and the people in my circle, the people around me just support me, motivate me, kind of uplift me. So I've always had that encouraging, supportive environment. Again, it's the people you surround yourself with.
So I'm going to dad mode here.
All right.
I didn't expect this to be like any part of the conversation, but teaching my kids right now to play baseball.
Yeah.
Did you learn how to adapt that on your own, or did your dad have to like? Because I don't know how dads did it before YouTube. Like I'm like on YouTube, like how the hell do I get my kid to hit a line drive and like swing through the ball?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like, that's like one even step further.
I know.
Just out of curiosity, totally.
I honestly don't know. I mean, obviously, I think I knew the glove had to be on my left hand. Like you need to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And so that, I couldn't tell you. Maybe I should go home and ask my dad that. I've never really heard the story, but I think like Casey was saying, like I just found a way and figured. My parents, I do know, like they always tell me that they used to just let me do things on my own and see how I handled it, and then they would step in like if need be. But I think for the most part, they just let me do things. So I clearly figured it out, but I couldn't. I was so young. I was probably at 3 or 4 maybe.
How old are you now?
Oh, how old am I now? 23.
23. Okay,
Yeah.
so for parents, we have probably a ton of parents listening. I hope you just heard what that 23-year-old just talking. Stop getting in the way of your kids, man. Let them do some shit. Let them figure it out, and they're gonna be adaptable, and it's gonna make them confident. Have you considered speaking to kids, or have you spoke to kids? I think you'd be so inspirational. For kids.
So I've done a few like softball kind of related things, just about like me playing and kind of encouraging young girls to stay active. But then I also worked for an organization, and we literally promote physical activity for young girls. So I wouldn't say like kids in general. I've really focused on young girls, but again, in just that like owning who you are, embracing who you are, like you can do anything you set your mind to, kind of believe in yourself, just take in the people around you, like get their support. But I mean, I'm not just like biased towards girls. I love young kids. That's kind of my goal. My mission is just, to motivate anyone just in life. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. I just want people to have that perspective and to kind of just believe in themselves.
I think that's a big part, is motivating anybody, right? Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
I know a lot of your teammates and how highly they speak of you. Like, you went from being a walk-on at UBC, right? Walking on, and then by the end of it, you're a captain of the team. And from my understanding, it's mostly voted by players, right? Your coach, Gord, right? Yeah. Absolutely, is in tears when he talks about you, right? And it's just you can have that impact on anyone. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to be younger than you. It's just what you portray and how you do it. It's just inspiring to everybody.
Thank you.
So the gratitude.
Yeah.
It's obviously a huge part of what it is, like in your guest form and the
Yeah.
conversations we've had, and part of the name of your facility or your business is Attitude of Gratitude. Did that come as the result of grief, or was that just something you've always just really... Gratitude's become a word that's very commonly used lately.
Yes.
Right? But it's something that you've obviously lived.
Yeah.
Just kind of take me through that a little bit.
Yeah. So like I said before, I was always super upbeat and positive, again, appreciated life. But I think since Kevin passed away, that was the moment really when you started to, I think that's when the word grateful or gratitude started to come in. So not that I didn't practice that before or anything, but that's kind of when that word had a purpose and had a personal meaning. And then from there, it's just grown. And obviously, like you said, now it's such a common word thrown around and, such a big thing in a lot of people's lives. So not that I didn't have it before, but I think just since then and realizing kind of what it is, then I've been able to use it more. But yeah, I think, I don't know, ever since he passed away, it was just you take a step back and it's okay, I talked about earlier, it's not about, oh, he's gone. It's, yes, I got 14 years with him, or it's looking at, what you do have instead of what you don't. And for me, again, at UBC, that was a big thing on my team. My coach, actually, Gord, we had an attitude of gratitude circle before every practice and every game. And so that's kind of, again, that was a pivotal moment. And that's kind of where my attitude of gratitude business name stemmed from, is because, we did the circle and I loved it. It was take a step back out of practice, out of your game. Let's be in a circle here and everyone say something you're grateful for today. Because it doesn't matter what's going on in anyone's life or in the world, there's always things that you can be grateful for. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing. There's so many different ways that you can express gratitude. And I think that's important for people too. It's a lot of people think it has to be some big thing. It's no, literally waking up today. I'm grateful I woke up today, things like that. So, UBC, it was a big thing. And then just in my family, it's a huge thing, obviously associated with Kevin, but kind of just moving forward, it seems to be a common theme in a lot of people's lives and something I'm super passionate about. So I'm just trying to grow it around, spread it.
And now what are things I kind of know a bit of the answer to this, but what are things you do now today, in your everyday thing? How do you express it? How do you get your friends involved and everyone involved in such a simple thing as admitting a few things that you're grateful for changes your attitude for the day?
Exactly. Well, Casey knows this one. We have a family group chat. Everyone's in it. And we write 3 things we're grateful for every morning. So my fiance now and I started this group chat. We actually write a journal every morning. So it looks different for a lot of people. It doesn't mean you have to write it down. It's just kind of what works for us. But I think at least sharing it with someone or with other people, it helps to kind of really ingrain it in your brain. I write in a journal every single morning. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. I don't have my cup of coffee before I do it. So it gets done because I have that cup of coffee. So I write in my journal. I send it to the family group chat. And then, I kind of encourage my friends to do the same thing. I've recently on my Instagram kind of started to do some videos for people, just encouraging them to develop this mindset and kind of sharing things I do in my life, but encouraging them to share things with me because I'm always open to new things. Right now, that's what I do, but maybe down the road, someone's going to give me a really cool thing to do and I'll start trying that. So it's almost just kind of try what works for you. And right now this is working for me. I love it. And again, it's kind of being patient. Just because you write in a journal one morning doesn't mean it's going to change your outlook on life. You've got to stay consistent in your effort and, do it over a couple months and then kind of see how you're feeling and reflect on it.
Yeah, your habits, building the habits, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And with this, with gratitude and people it's something I've taken in, and I know every guest, it seems from Casey to Jeff Casey last week, myself going through some things that have caused you some angst or caused you grief and all these things. If you can switch that outlook, and that's what that gratitude and the simply I'm happy I woke up, or I'm happy I have a clean bed. I don't know, whatever that is, it can be so simple, but it forces you, and the more days in a row you do it, the more you have to look for things that are there to be grateful for, unless you're going to every single day. Hope Johnny Keel's listening to this, says the same thing every time we have a meeting. But unless you're going to repeat the same thing every day, you have to really start to look for it. And the more you look for it, the more you see it, and the more you don't see the other things. And we did this with a survival camp that I ran. And I think guys didn't expect a guy like me with tattoos and muscles and a background in this as with SWAT to come in and force them to start adding this into their lives. And then all of a sudden these big muscular guys are like, wow, I feel so much better. And it's like, yeah, because you're seeing the sun. And I know from grief, not dealing with it and being fueled by anger for so many years after the murder of a friend, that it's so much easier to live on this side of the world. Yeah. Like on the bright side of the world rather than the dark side of the world.
Exactly.
So keep spreading it, man.
Yeah, thanks.
I will. It's that perspective of your day. Like if you start off the day and want to get angry and surround yourself by that, you'll be angry all day.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
If you it's such a easy concept, sometimes more difficult to do, obviously, and depending what you have going on. But if you just look at the big picture and you can, force yourself to smile or trick yourself, right? It's like with media, if you constantly are watching all negative things and negative videos, you're going to be a negative person.
Yeah.
But if you can flip that and surround yourself with happy people and happy things and just like admit, yeah, maybe this is going on that's terrible in my life right now, but I do have these 3 things.
Exactly.
And then I also have maybe these 3 things.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden it starts to turn around, and if you create a habit out of that, you can really get to Kenzie's positivity level, which is
that's a thing, right?
It's like a tough level to get to, but it's crazy.
It's not like you said, it maybe sounds easier than it is to do, but it's just about getting started, and like it's more simple than you think. Like it's just changing your mindset. So turning the negatives into positives, like it's literally just an outlook, and it takes practice. That's the thing. It takes practice and patience. You can't just expect it overnight. It's something you have to develop, but like if you commit to it, your life will be better. You know what I mean? Like it's a full connection there.
Yeah, and you can apply it all the time. So the other day we were in the hospital with Danny. She had her neck surgery. She comes out, and we got caught. I was telling you guys some of the stories, but some of the kind of like the mess ups that were happening in the hospital. And she's like 10 minutes out of surgery, and her and I are just talking, and then both of us just stopped. We're like, no, like let's focus on. Forget about all those fuck ups. Forget about these problems. Forget about the neck brace that doesn't fit. Let's focus on like what's good. Like your hands are working. Like you're bright eyed. You're awake. I was able to get in here to see you today. Like and it just turns the room, and it just changes everything. So with the business, let's stick on the gratitude a little bit. You said how you gotta find a way that works for you. So I know you wake up in the morning and do your gratitude. Yeah. I actually switch mine to the end of the day. Okay. And so like there's not one way to do things. You gotta figure out how it works for your life. For me, I know that like you said, you need that to get going. Yeah. Myself, if I don't get some big things off my list in that morning, some important things, I feel like I can't get rolling. But on the back end of the day, when the stressors, because I wake up in the morning pretty damn happy actually. Yeah. But the back end of the day is where like things have piled on. You forgot the memory cards for the podcast. you whatever's happened that day. And so now at the end of my day is where I actually do that, because I find it's a good shut off for me to now go home with a real put the day behind me and go home positive, and it helps me go to sleep and then wake up fresh the next day. Yeah. So, figure out the way that works for you.
And even do both, right? Like start your day off, use it to get you going, and then use it to decompress at the end of the day, right? It's a great, like, for some people I know you've had the same kind of things as like struggling falling asleep, or, like you let the little things like bother you, especially at nighttime. As soon as you're in bed with your own thoughts, they can really resonate, and they can just like expand and get worse and faster and faster. If you do take that time, and you can do that exact same thing as write down those 3 things at night, whatever is on your mind or concerns, put it down, say it aloud, talk to someone about it. And it's crazy how much of a difference that can make, and how calming that can be by the end of it.
Yeah. And it's really cool. I think that like anybody can do it, and there's no right or wrong way. Like that's the thing. It can look different for everyone, which is cool, because it doesn't matter however you do it. Like it's your own thing that you can do. There's no right or wrong way, so you're not gonna be wrong doing it. It's like find something that works for you, because we can all do it. So.
Just don't tweet out all the negative things.
Write your grateful list and then tweet the bad things. Don't do that.
I'll keep away from that one. All right, I'm gonna take a minute to read in our ad from our very first paid advertisement on the Tango One podcast. So this is for Stephen Kidd, financial advisor. He's a great man. He comes to this place. I respect him hugely. Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? When you work with Steve Kidd, your local Edward Jones financial advisor, he focuses on what's important to you. You'll work together and use an established process to create a personalized financial strategy backed by the advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And you'll partner to help your strategy stay on track. Contact Steve Kidd today at 519-734-8599. That's 519-734-8599. Edward Jones, member, Canadian Investor Protection Fund. All right, let's get rolling. So, AOG, you kind of came into this. Forgive me, I forget what was the you bought it off of. It was something Axfit.
Yeah,
correct?
so
Right?
Danielle,
which was a pretty big.
yeah.
When this like outdoor fitness movement kind of started, she was like
she's kind of the first
ones
one.
in the game.
Yeah. So Danielle Chevalier, out in Tecumseh, they're also like Urban Surf Company. That's their other
thing.
thing.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
yeah, she did Axfit and she did it for a while, but she has one older daughter and then 2 young twins now. And I think it just got to a point where, she wanted to be home at dinner time. A lot of the classes are at 6 p.m. So she does a lot online still, but yeah, she kind of reached out to me to let me know what was going on. And it's something I always had in the back of my head to kind of take over for her one day. But I thought maybe after school, once I'm graduated, that kind of stuff. But the opportunity came up and it just seemed like the right thing to do. Just try it out. I mean, there's not much to lose here. See how it goes, see what happens. If it doesn't work out, you just end it, kind of no big deal. So that was awesome. I mean, she's kind of been one of my biggest mentors growing up. I've always loved her workouts. I've always been kind of by her side. She's totally inspired me, motivated me through. And so, yeah, this was a really cool opportunity. So I took it, but it all happened pretty fast. So she thought it'd be best to kind of rebrand it just so she can still do her online stuff with Axfit, and that's all good. But the outdoor boot camp type thing will change names. So it happened pretty quick. I remember we were out here actually in Amherstburg with Casey and Brooke and kind of starting to brainstorm like, what are we going to call this thing?
A lot of names thrown
around. But yeah, again, attitude of gratitude. It stemmed from my UBC softball coach. And I thought, that's pretty cool. Like AOG, short form, that's what we can call it. But obviously it stands for something bigger. And I think that was the big thing for me is it's not just about fitness. Like, yeah, I run group classes out of the WFCU Center. We do like a stairs class. We did some group training there. And then we do some outside stuff. We're kind of all over the place. But it's not just about physical activity. It's just all about that mindset and healthy living. So it's the idea that, being grateful for what we're able to do with our body. Not that we have to work out, but that we get to work out. And that's kind of always reinforced in all my workouts when I'm training people is that idea of like, hey guys, you're holding this minute plank right now. Like, close your eyes. You don't have to worry about anything. All you have to do is hold this plank. So take a second to think about what you're grateful for. And so that's kind of how I spread that gratitude mindset for people, and how I kind of get them to start to adopt it is like, bringing it to the workouts. Here you go. You have a minute. You can think of something you're grateful for and repeat it in your head. And then hopefully they kind of take that moving forward. So that's kind of, how it all happened, where the name came from. And here we are today.
Very cool. So what do you think your average customer age? Is it like, are you coaching people like around your age, or are you coaching people around my age? What do you think?
A little bit of both, actually. A mix of both. I have a lot of people around my age. And then I would say a lot in that like 40 to 60 range, and some even more. I mean, I get a wide range of people, all different types of fitness levels. And that's the thing. We're like diverse. We're inclusive of all people, any type of fitness level. So that's the cool part about it is you get all different kinds of people, but they all like work together and have fun together. So it's cool.
Yeah. So we talked about this with Danny. I'm just curious, and I know you kind of experienced it a little bit here too, being younger than some of your members. Have you had any of those struggles where it's kind of like, who's this young chick? And especially from like maybe a guy like me or somebody who walks in the door. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that?
Honestly, it's been pretty good. I think it helped me. So I helped Danielle a lot, like as she was going through. So I trained for her maybe just like once or twice a week, but I was able to kind of meet her like customer base and get to know people. And honestly, I never felt that way. They're kind of, she's pretty, like she is young too. So a lot of the people were older than her, but I think they just kind of, I don't know, have a respect for you. They appreciate what you're doing for them. They need that little bit of motivation. They can't do it on their own. They don't want to do it on their own. They want to be with a group. And so I'm just happy that I can be there motivating them. And we kind of just have fun with it. We joke around. Obviously, like I'll correct them if their form's wrong, this and that. But I also give them a lot of like free range as they're doing the exercises. So I'm not like on them all the time. And yeah, I think just over the years, we've developed a good relationship. And now that I've completely taken over for her, nothing's really changed. We just have fun together.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's good. I think that's a big part too, that like a lot of people with training and stuff miss is like, just move.
Yeah.
As long as you're moving, right? As a trainer, make sure they're moving properly. Make sure the foundation's there and they're not hurting themselves or making things worse. But if you have people like in any range, and as long as they are moving for that 30 minutes, 45 minutes in a safe manner, and it's more than they were going to do, you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
And if you're doing like on the way of talking about kind of different ages and things like that, like I remember having some, not so much difficulties, but at the start, right? You are a younger person and it's kind of like, who's this person? What do they know? And it's like, one thing that I can tell you would have done is just like oversaturate how exciting it is. Right? You're too happy for them to be like, okay, that's right. That's a Nicky move,
Yeah.
right? And then so for me, it was just like few things. Like one, like know what you're talking about before you start telling people stuff so much, but also just like be there and like show them like if you're doing proper form with everything and you're pushing that weight and you're moving, like they'll start to see that, okay, maybe this young kid's not so bad and they know what they're talking about and they're in the same situation I am and here to help as opposed to here to yell at me. So be a good demonstrator of what you're doing and by being that example, right? Like if you were to preach happiness every day and then you go on rants, you're not doing the right thing. So Same thing if you're a trainer, if you're preaching all these, movements and positive lifestyles, you have to live that, and that's what's going to get you that clientele, and that's what people are going to respect about you is that you're literally living that brand, right? And that happiness, and like for your brand to be AOG, it's hands down like it's great.
Yeah, no,
it's perfect.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. I've actually never really like thought about that before. I just go and train them, have a good time. I've never like thought, wow, I'm way younger than them.
So happy that wow, I'm just way younger than you. Is that
No, like they never. Yeah, they're so
be
cool.
Careful with numbers today. Tony's
Yeah.
outnumbered today by the young.
Look out! Look out!
You're just so happy that somebody blows you off. You don't even care.
I'm like, oh, it's all good.
I'm grateful that man blew me off.
Hey, cool.
There's 2 more spots available now.
Yeah, right. Bring on more.
It's crazy though how infectious laughter and smiles are, because I know one of the things we missed when we went to the COVID, and it was Casey and I coming in. COVID went to the COVID. When we went COVID mode, like underground, and we were coming in here just Casey and I every day, and all of a sudden Nikki wasn't here and Nikki's so much like you, and her smile and her laughter were not here on a daily basis. It was getting to us, and like we're not negative people, but we're also not the outright like, hey,
it just shows you how much somebody can bring energy to the room without like actually like physically doing much. Just them like walking in and looking around happy and smiling. It is infectious, and it does changes a lot of things.
And that's why these businesses will survive, is because we all need people. Like, it's proof we need to be around people. What have you done to switch up your business since the COVID kind of struck? The COVID, I keep calling it
the COVID.
Like my dad. The COVID came.
So for the first little bit, I think I took maybe like 2 weeks off, and then I thought, okay, like I started seeing, people using online platforms. So I looked into Zoom for a bit, and then I kind of reached out to my clients to see, what they were thinking, what they would want to do. But I started it up probably maybe in week 3 or 4, I want to say, of COVID. And it was good, actually. In the beginning, it was actually kind of awakening moment for me, because it's not just my people in Windsor that have been joining on, but it's friends from out west that are joining. I have a friend all the way in Australia who joins in. So it's like the next day for her, but it still works out timing wise. So it's actually like opened my eyes to just, I don't know, new ways of training and new ways. I never thought I would be training my friends that I went to school with. Like, never thought I'd be on the same screen as I'm doing a workout. Like, it's crazy, but it's also so cool. I'm so like grateful for the technology that we have and that we can do this. Again, it's something I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be doing, but I'm loving it. So I do. Right now I'm at just 4 classes a week. I just do them at 6 p.m. at night. They're 30 minutes. They're quick, kind of targeting all different body groups. We do upper one night, lower, core, and it's just fun, honestly. We have a great time. It's actually been pretty funny too for me, because a lot of times when I train, I'm not doing a ton of the movements with everyone. I'm kind of, walking around making sure people are okay. So doing these workouts, I mean, I'm like pretty much on the screen there for 30 minutes doing exactly what they're doing. And it's been like a humbling experience to kind of sit back and be like, all right, if I'm going to yell at them to do this for 30 seconds, I can do it too. So honestly, it's been fun. I'm making the most of it, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Changes it up a lot. I think it's a good positive thing in the way of like, I'm learning a lot on the coaching side of things.
Absolutely.
Like, it's one thing when you're in the gym and you can walk over to somebody and talk for a bit and correct their form. It's another when you're doing the movements. One, you're controlling your breath to a minimum because you're on the headphones, and you know some people aren't listening to music and they're just hearing you breathe if they're not. And then also, like, again, it's one thing to be able to walk over to someone and physically, you know, like pull a shoulder back or something.
True.
Or at least like point around, as opposed to staring at a screen now and trying to get them to find these little cues.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's like, I know I'm learning a lot of little things, and you really have to expand your vocabulary, because me saying one word to you might not resonate with Tony and vice versa. So you're really like digging into that university education on words that I didn't understand.
You got to really improve your communication skills. It's like
Absolutely.
the drills we did with your leadership camp when you came, and we put the gas masks on half the guys, and then had the other guys call out commands. You know, like you see on Survivor or something, like you have to like be very, very, and then, you know, you have to be like Mackenzie, like you can't just say like, hey, put your, you know, get your shoulder back. You have to actually tell the people like which one's doing it, or else you see like people who are doing it proper who are now like overreaching. You know, and part of it's cool too is I don't think people know how accountable they are on that screen. In real life, when I turn to coach somebody, 90% of the people I have my back to them. So if they're not doing it right, if they're taking it easy, or if they're messing around, but now it's like, man, I got 18 people on this screen all right in front of my face. And if you're doing it wrong, you even stand out more, because it's like that little Brady Bunch squares. Yeah. Because know what that show is?
Heard of it. Can't say I've ever watched it. Too young for that. Sorry, Tony.
I'm finally going to be grateful for this. All right. Laws. This is something, I don't know much about it. Danny really started to get involved with it just as the COVID hit.
Yes.
What is LAWS?
Yeah, so LAWS stands for Leadership Advancement for Women in Sport. I'm relatively new to it. It's been probably just about 2 years now, but I was introduced when I did my MBA. One of my professors actually was kind of like the co-chair of the board for a while, so she kind of started it up. But really, we just are encouraging like gender equity in sports for girls. So we really are promoting girls in sport. We run some programming for girls in sport, and we're just all about like getting girls moving in our community. So I started just kind of attending some meetings on the board, doing that kind of stuff, and then I realized like this is awesome. This is totally something I want to be a part of. So last year we had like our annual general meeting, and I was kind of not inducted. I was now the mentoring manager. So I've done a little bit there, but I've also taken on just kind of promoting who they are. Like, we're small and not a lot of people knew about us. So I made some clothing for us. So that's how Danny and you got involved here. You guys sell some of it. And it's just, getting the word out in the community, getting people to know about it. I think it's really important. I think it's awesome what we're doing. Obviously right now it's tough to do things, but hopefully, when life goes back to somewhat normalcy, we'll be able to get out there more. But I think it's just so important to encourage girls to be active. And, there's all the research out there about them quitting sports so early, and, even the ones that just don't get the equal opportunities. So that's really all we're about, is just encouraging kind of gender equity in sport.
Okay, and how are you going about doing that? Like, so you got the t-shirts, and what I know things changed because schools shut down. Yeah. But what was the plan? So we do some programming. We have a program called Goals, and that's when we did like a basketball session, volleyball session. Usually they're like a 6-week program, and we have girls come. They sign up, register for it, and then they get to do this program, like let's say every Friday night for 6 weeks. So we try to target different communities in Windsor too, where, girls maybe wouldn't get the chance to do this. So that's why a lot of the fundraising we do throughout the year, kind of just, for example, our clothing, like anything we make off that goes into running our programs. So we do it all kind of supports this programming that we run for girls in that Goals program. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And making a difference. And like, I think we've come to really realize when you get into this industry, maybe just being a guy, you just kind of blow it off, or you're naive to it, or you're just it's not your focus, I guess, growing up. But then when you get into this industry, you really see how like, everybody has their insecurities, but it really stands out to me in women, and it's disheartening a lot of times when you look at a woman here who's like absolutely ripped, but has no self-confidence, and they feel their body image is not proper, or you look at somebody who's lost 50 pounds, and you're like, oh my God, you look amazing, but they still only want to point out, like, comes right back to what we started with, is they're pointing out the negative, like, oh, I still have 20 pounds to lose. Like,
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, I feel great. Like, I feel so
Exactly.
much better. And I'm going to lose those other 20 pounds. It's just, that's what I think we need to improve and it all starts with the youth.
Exactly. Absolutely. That's why I'm honest. Like we talked about earlier, I'm so passionate about, I mean, specifically young girls, but just young kids in general, because I'm just starting to learn about things now. I mean, I'm 23. Like, think about if you can learn that when you're, I don't know, 10 or 11, like it goes a long way. And it's so cool that there's all, this research, all this stuff out there that we can influence them at a young age. So why not do it? And so that's kind of why I'm so passionate about that, is because I know where it's taken me. And, luckily for me, I've always kind of been involved in sports and been active and loved that stuff. And, never really cared, was never insecure. I was always kind of confident in who I am. But I know a lot of girls struggle with that. So that's kind of what motivates me, is like, let's get them at a young age here, show them what they're capable of, show them that, they can do whatever they set their mind to, and just to kind of, again, own who they are, embrace it. And yeah, I think the young age is huge to target at a young age.
And sports in general, like I again, we're not far off from this demographic, but like I look at, again, I think it was different like when we were growing up, and it's like sports is changing a lot, but I think there's so many valuable lessons in sports, whether you're a team captain or at the bottom of the team sort of thing. Like there's so many things just being in a locker room is, right, with like equality between people and all these other aspects of it, and learning how to fail a bit, learning how to lose, learning how to win, how to be humble, how to, celebrate, how to like kind of get over little things here and there. And giving young kids that opportunity is exactly what we need. And that, just because it doesn't mean you have to give that kid an opportunity to become a pro player, right? But giving that kid an opportunity to play for 5 or 6 years and learn everything surrounding a sport, I think is more important than anything. And then now you see it in school, and you see it in jobs, is those people who never had that confidence or didn't know how to work with a team. You can see it in the job, right? And then it hurts jobs, and it hurts teams all the time, like outside of sport. So I think that's incredible that that's the mission you're on, and that you're doing something about it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so much more than just to the sport itself. Like you said, you learn so many life lessons. It just kind of, I don't know, makes you a more well-rounded person, I'd say. Like I've taken so many things out of sports, even just little things like time management, things like that a lot of people, don't have. Like I just finished my MBA at the university, and, I'd go spin at 6 a.m. Like obviously I'm going to go to spin. Like that's what I do. But people thought I was crazy. Like, what do you mean you work out? Like, what do you mean you don't work out? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you learn a lot from it, and you're able, I think, again, if you started at a young age, it's easy to build that habit in and just continue it throughout your life.
Yeah, and I think parents need to realize as well with young athletes and with their children, the point of sports for me as a father is the communication, it is the confidence, it's the little social aspect. But you can get so involved in sports where you actually, and you probably knew athletes like this, both of you guys, that's all they did. That's all they know. They have no idea how to act outside of those lines. And they could be and a lot of times they were some of the best athletes because they were so involved. Practice every day, like too much. And I think it's important for everybody to understand that you don't need to develop that communication, that confidence, that social bond, those great habits. Doesn't have to be at the highest level. Your kid doesn't always have to play at the highest level. Your kid can just play. Just play and be able to go outside out back in the backyard and play again. And I think the one thing that young people, and this is something that I commend you on, I'd like to hear where it came from, is speaking with confidence and communicating with confidence. I know for me it wasn't always natural, and it was years and years of doing briefings in front of a bunch of cops. I know for you it wasn't natural when you first came and started talking in front of all these 40 people at a time and explaining a workout. And it's a skill. It really is a skill. Like, where did you get? You're 23 years old and you speak like you've been doing this for years. Like, where did this skill come from?
It's a good question, actually.
It wasn't on the docket.
No. I'm not really sure. Like I remember before I used to, get nervous before I had to go up in front of the class or something. But as soon as I was up there, again, I was just confident in what I was doing. But I think it comes down to like preparation also. Like I've always been someone who's, prepared. Like I do things on time. I meet deadlines. I do stuff in advance kind of thing. Like I'm never procrastinating right till the end. So I think maybe, let's look at Casey. I think that has helped me too. Like I'm thinking more of in school, and like especially doing the MBA, like you're up in front of the class all the time. So I think from that, I actually gained a lot of experience and confidence. But not that I was like terrible before then. Honestly, both my parents are pretty good at it too. So I think just having them around as influences. But like, I do remember before most presentations, even like in grade school or high school, like, yeah, I'd go into the front of the family room and everyone would listen to my presentation. It was just something I did. So again, it's that whole idea of practice. Like I don't like being too unprepared. I like to be prepared. I like to know what I'm doing, but I also really enjoy it. So I think, I don't know if that makes me a little bit better at it. Like when I'm passionate about what I'm talking about, I find it so much easier also. So when I, go do these motivational speeches, like I'm telling my story and I'm just trying to motivate younger people and encourage them. So I find it really easy because it's my story. It's who I am. So it just flows really nicely. It's more of the time when I'm, talking about something maybe I'm not as comfortable with. That's when that like preparation comes into play. But honestly, I think I just love it. And I don't know now, like I said, I'm 23, but realizing kind of the impact that I can have on people from a young age. I don't obviously think I really realized it, but now as I'm getting older and kind of involving myself more in things in the community, I see like the impact that I can have on people's lives, and it's fun for me. It's easy for me, and like I enjoy it so much. And if it's so simple for me to do, it's like I would love to do it more. Like I would love to go into schools and talk to people. I'd love to go into workplaces. I know like culture is such a big thing there, and just getting people again like into that mindset of just like appreciating where you're at. Like this life is short, it's not long, so just enjoy it. And I think, yeah, again, just coming back to the speaking, I just enjoy it. I love it. I love sharing my story, and I love hearing from other people. So I think as I speak to people, I like hope I'm encouraging them to like lift up their voice, because I want to hear what they have to say too. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't know where it all like came from, but I genuinely really enjoy it.
It catches fire, right?
I think a big thing you just kind of hit on there is find what you're passionate about and go for it. Because if you're passionate about it, it's a lot easier to do.
Exactly.
Right? If you're passionate about it, you don't mind putting in those extra hours to do it because it's something you want to do. If you're passionate about it, it's easier to talk about and you're excited to talk about it. So if you find those things that you are passionate about in a job or in a career or as a hobby, it makes it like enjoyable to be a part of. It makes like you're excited to be doing this. So I think that, yeah, that's great what you just mentioned there is like, you're passionate about something, it makes things a lot easier to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you know your purpose, you know your passion, the platform can change.
Yeah.
Right, and all those things. I mean, you're doing it with fire to here, and I've done it from policing to here, and now into like, a little bit more of the personal coaching. Like, it's the same purpose and passion. It's just the platform keeps changing, and it's so addictive. You just want to keep doing it for more and more people, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the purpose of this podcast. It's the purpose of having you on here. I'm like thrilled that you came on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very, very much.
I love it.
But before we do break, let's how do we get a hold of you if somebody wants to get on AOG or somebody wants to get involved with laws? Like, hit them all.
Yeah.
Or like even like the charity, like one thing I failed to mention is how many cans did you guys collect? So you guys do
oh my gosh
for your little brother every year.
So it's kind of funny, honestly. My family does not have much to do with that. The Windsor Stars, which is who Kevin played for, the baseball team, they put it on. So like we actually have no saying, like running it, they do everything.
Wow, good for them.
But this year they did the can drive, which was a genius idea during COVID. And yeah, we I think collected, it was over 40,000 cans alone. We bagged them into like bags of 100, but then we had a whole U-Haul full of like cases of beer cans, or beer bottles, sorry. And then a separate U-Haul full of like bottles, wine bottles, any kind of bottles. So I'm not sure the exact total number, but definitely there were over 40,000 cans alone.
Oh my God. You guys are actually
so that was
inspired
crazy.
the 30-day challenge because we
no
saw
way.
how much booze our members were drinking. As they were filling up cases.
We had a giant trailer load coming from there.
That was insane. I know people are going like, don't judge me. I'm like, it's fine. Life's about
So
balance.
like, oh my God, 30-day challenge. These people are out of control. We're not gonna have any members left.
It's time to change it up.
We're gonna have a little bit in Brentwood, but
so funny.
yeah. So how do somebody wants to get involved with AOG laws? Let's link that there.
So for AOG, it's kind of like a separate thing, kind of a business thing. So I have an account on Instagram, just AOG Windsor, and then I have a website. It's all kind of connected to the Instagram, and contact info is all there. For laws, I would say just siddallmackenzie@gmail.com. Just email me, and then we can talk. I mean, we have a group of girls that are together, but we're always looking for more people. I mean, the more the merrier, the more ideas that are flowing around. We're always kind of looking for ways to bring new stuff to the community, and especially now during this kind of downtime, it's a good time to brainstorm ideas. So yeah, if anyone wants to reach out, those are kind of the two main channels to do it.
Good.
And all the links will be provided in the description and of
Perfect.
YouTube and our Apple and Spotify playlist. So.
Awesome.
Yes, Casey will do.
Yes, I will be adding them. I will be adding them.
Deal.
But yeah, and if you guys listening, let's push her in this direction. So if you have a class, I know there's a lot of teachers that follow us, reach out. Let's get her in to speak to your class and talk about confidence and talk about things like that, because I think she really does hold a great influence. And if you don't follow her, you should, because this is exactly what she's like. I think you should keep doing a lot more of those videos.
Thank you.
Just business advice, but I think you're so great on video.
Thanks.
And it does I have a lot of these people that I follow that are supposed to, but when you come on there and you start talking, it just makes me smile. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So you are impacting a ton of people. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Very proud of you guys. And 23 years old is incredible. I can't imagine what you're going to be in 10 more years and the more people you can impact. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
That was great.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's
Cheers,
it.
guys.